this is Ruchi Jain from Literary Expert Class, and I want to share you my impactful session in this live podcast. And the topic for today is, which is really interesting, and I want to share the tips also. I'm excited to hear from Devansh and Swastik, and they will share us some very great experiences on their travel tales. So, kindly let us know.
Hello and welcome to my podcast Travel Tales. We are excited to share some amazing travel experience and tips with you. I am host Swastik Srivastav and I will be joined by our guest
Devansh.
who has some incredible stories to share. Let's start with you Devansh. Can you tell us about one of the most memorable travel experience?
One of my favorite travel experiences was when I visited Japan for the first time. I was amazed by the culture, food, and scenery. But what really stood out was the kindness of the people. Everywhere I went, people were willing to help me, even when we didn't speak the same languages.
That's wonderful. I have that Japan is a very welcoming country. What were some challenges you faced while traveling in Japan?
One of the biggest challenges was the language barrier. I didn't speak any Japanese before I arrived, so I had to rely on gestures and translation app to communicate.
Oh
But
my
it was
god, I'm sorry to interrupt you. So, communication was such a hurdle that you had to rely on an app.
yes, apps like Duolingo it helps to improve our language.
Okay, that's nice.
But it was also a great opportunity to learn some basic Japanese phrases and to connect with the locals.
That's great point about language barriers. Can you tell us more about some of the cultural differences you experienced while traveling in Japan?
One of the biggest cultural differences I noticed was the concept of saving face in Japan. It's very important to avoid embarrassment or conflict. So people often use polite language and avoid direct confrontation. It was interesting to learn about this cultural nuance and adapt my behavior accordingly.
That's fascinating. How did you learn about these cultural differences? And what tips would you give to our listeners who are planning to Japan?
I did a lot of research before I traveled to Japan, reading guidebooks and articles about the culture. I also tried to learn some basic Japanese phrases.
Wow, that's really nice. Can you give me some examples?
Like konnichiwa, and
What is konnichiwa?
it means hello in Japan.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So every time I meet a Japanese person, konnichiwa.
Oh, at least you are getting trying to get connected. Oh, okay. That's why that really helped
Yes,
you.
that's a very good point.
Okay. Okay. So then next, then what else you try to carry further in your behavior so that you get connected to them?
Yes, my tip would be to do your research and be respectful to the culture and don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Research in
Don't-
what? I'm so sorry. Research.
Research in the language, the culture, and about the people, about their history.
Okay. So you mean to say I have to know the history wherever I go?
Not really, but you have to know some basics.
Okay.
Of that particular country.
Okay.
Because if you want to strike a conversation with a human, you have to know some things.
That was very cute. If you want conversation with the human, you should know their basics. Yeah, our basics is that we do communicate.
Yeah.
Communication is the first thing where we can start, we begin, and that's the way we start, like how we are doing communication.
Yeah.
All right.
Best example.
Something common.
Something
in us.
common.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are great tips. What are some your favorite travel destinations and what recommendation you would give to our listeners?
I love traveling to new cities and trying their foods. Some of my favorite destinations include Tokyo, Japan, New York, and Paris. My recommendation would be always to try local cuisine, explore neighborhoods on foot, and always talk to the locals. You never know what hidden gems you might discover.
Thank you so much, Devansh, for sharing your amazing travel experience with us today. If you'd like to hear more travel stories and tips, be sure to tune in our next episode, and don't forget us to follow on social media and share your own travel experience with us using the hashtag travel tales. Thank you.
And don't forget, we are definitely literary expert. In the end, what are we doing? We are communicating,
We are
associating.
expert.
Yes, we are associating our language and getting our skills sharpened. Thank you.
Bye.